Yesterday, I posted a short that said, "Tell me one personal characteristic that you cannot handle." And one of the answers was procrastination. And today, I want to give you 5 steps on how to deal with procrastination. And I'll start with a couple of quotes I really like. And one is from Christopher Parker, and it says, "Procrastination is like credit card. It is a lot of fun until you get the bill." The second one I really like is Charles Dickens, and he says, "Procrastination is a thief of time." And the third one is from Noel Hancock that says, "Procrastination is a lazy cousin of fear. When we feel anxiety around an activity, we postpone it." And these quotes really tells us a lot. Like, for example, when you procrastinate your what you have to do, how does it feel? It really feels like you have no time. Like it feels like, oh my God, there's a due date. I don't have the time. And then when you procrastinate a lot, you notice that it's a due date, or is that you have to do a lot of things in a very short amount of time because you didn't do them all in time. And then we procrastinate when we are afraid of a task. We think we're not good at it, we're not enough for it, the task is too hard for us. And to understand procrastination, why you procrastinate, you have to get to the root cause. You have to see what this activity or task does for you. Does it make you feel fearful? Are you afraid that you're not going to do it well? Why are you feeling like that? And then you need to see what exactly um, uh, distracts you. For example, you're not doing this because you went partying, or you're not doing this because you're doing something else. Could you take those distractions away and just concentrate first on your task and then do the distractions or have fun? And then that's going to help you to get to the root cause. You need to understand what exactly you need to have done, like what needs to be done. You need to understand what's holding you back, why you're not doing what needs to be done. You also need to organize your tasks. And when you organize your tasks, you know that you have to do this, and then you can look at something that how to break them in smaller steps. For example, excuse me. For example, you want to paint your room. You think that that's going to take a week. You think that's a huge task. So you're like, I don't have a week. So you postpone it, and you feel like you haven't accomplished it. But when you think of painting the room in steps, for example, taking off everything of the room today, tomorrow tape around the corners so the paint doesn't go on the ceiling or the other way. The third day you take off all the tape. The fourth day you're cleaning up the room, and the fifth day you're organizing the room back. That's gonna make it a lot easier, and it's gonna give you a feeling of happiness because you have accomplished step by step in a larger task. And you see, when you think how to help yourself to fix a task, it's easier because you are helping yourself to by giving it steps, by giving it an easier approach to the whole big task. And then when you break it in manageable steps, you understand that it's harder to make mistakes, because when you procrastinate and you wait for the last moment, you will make mistakes because you want to do it very fast. You don't have the time to give it like the enough amount of time. So if you say, let's say you have guests coming, you need to rearrange your room or remodel your room. You want to do it all in one day, then you'll have paint on the ceiling, paint there. You won't have it perfect, or not necessarily perfect, but neat and clean. But when you give it time, it's going to be look a lot better. And procrastination actually comes from boredom when you're bored, and it comes from frustration, for a lack of inside reward, and lack of structure, and lack of personal meaning. And these points actually shows us that when you have a task to do, you need to understand why you have to do it, what's going to happen when you've done with it, and how it benefits you. So when you think that a task is boring and you don't want to do it, think try to see what will be the reward of doing that task. And for example, people think that it's very boring to clean and that's unnecessary, but when you put like in a different perspective, you think if I clean the house, it helps my mental health, it helps me not to be stressed, it helps me to feel good about my house, about myself, and it helps me to be easy because there are lots of studies that show that when your room is not clean or your house is not clean, it actually stresses you out. You get more annoyed, and that's something on unconscious level. Like it's not something that um, feels like you come and you see and you know you're gonna get upset. It's just when it's not clean, it makes us feel anxious, it makes us feel frustrated, and we start to listen other people. Frustration. What frustration? Frustration is when you feel like you're not good to do a task or you don't like that task. So as I said, if you put it in steps, it's gonna easy the frustration. You can do it better. Lack of insight reward is when you don't feel like what you're doing is going to give you any benefits. So it's time to rethink what exactly is going to do these tasks if it's done. What it works for you? Well, first of all, it's gonna help you not feel pressured and not feel overwhelmed that you have to have something done. It's already checked, it's done, so it's forgotten and it's easy on your brain, so you'll feel good about it. So that's a good reward. Or maybe if you do this, you'll get more money, or maybe if you do this, you'll get more sleep or more food, or you have to find how a task is actually helping you first, and then it's going to be easier for you to get yourself to do it. And then lack of structure means then you are like, you have all these tasks to do, all these things to do, but you're like chaotic because you don't know how to do it, what to do it. So my suggestion will be to actually have a to-do list or maybe a journal where you write what you have to have done, and maybe break it in steps how to do it, and then just do them. Just cross them out. And I think that I really appreciate the 2 minute rule, and that 2 minute rule means that when there's a task that you can be done in less than 2 minutes, just do it. Don't say I'm gonna do it later. So you wake up, you can fix your bed in less than 2 minutes, just do that. You're going to brush teeth. You think of it as brushing your teeth, like you would wake up and you would brush your teeth because that's good for your health, that you don't feel dirty, and all those germs don't eat your, I don't know, your health, your breath, your when you go to talk to people, if your teeth are not clean, you don't feel comfortable. Same here. Okay, fix my bed. Let me put the dishes in the dishwasher. Or if you do these small steps, it's gonna be a lot of easier. So for example, you want to have your kitchen clean. Every time at night, after you eat, just clean. Put in the garbage really quick everything and put in the sink what needs to be washed. And take the dishes that are clean, and then it's gonna be you'll think like, okay, the dishes are out of the dishwasher, so why not you put the dishes in the washer? So it's gonna make it easier for your brain. Your brain is gonna feel like, okay, I don't have to take dishes right now and then wash. Your brain will think the dishes are already out, so let me just wash and put it inside. Our brain always looks for something that's easier. He wants to do something fun, easy, and avoids what makes us uncomfortable. So when you take these steps that will make your job easier, then your brain doesn't feel so pressured and you feel more better and easier for you to do the task. And another thing is very good for you to set deadlines. When you set deadlines, you know this task needs to be done by tomorrow or by next week. And your brain is thinking of the ways of how to do it in that time frame. I also like how Mel Robbins says about the 5 second rule, and that is like when you feel like you don't want to do something, you don't want to get out of bed, you don't want to pay that bill, you don't want to put those dishes, just count back 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And without thinking, get up and do that thing. And that's going to be a lot easier for you. You'll feel that it's done already and it wasn't that hard as you thought. Sometimes we just need to do things without putting meaning into it, and sometimes we need to just force ourselves to do stuff. And when you force yourself enough times to do stuff, it's gonna be a habit, and then you're not gonna have this feeling that I have to do it. You just will do it. And also, it's very good to make a task appealing. And one way to do that is what's gonna happen if you've done it. What's gonna happen? You have more free time. You don't have to think about it, and you feel good about it. And you need to find a way to reward yourself inside yourself. Like you need something that rewards that a task makes you feel good about it. Like for example, I found out that I used to use my credit card. It's very easy. You just slide it, and then at the end of the month, you get $1,000 bill, and you're like, "But I spent like $20 on it all the time. How did I get it?" So for me, the reward was of not using my credit card is that I don't have to be surprised by a huge bill. So at the moment I don't use credit cards. I use the money I have on hand. That teached me that if I want something more expensive, I have to actually work on that to build that money to be able to buy it. And also, I find that when you know exactly when you arrange your bills and your spendings, you know exactly that you have to spend this much money around at the end of the month, for example, for paying bills. Let's say I have to pay $2,000 on my bills every month. When I work, I put this $2,000 in my savings account every week. If you, I get paid once a month, so it's easier for me. But if you get paid every week, you know that from this amount you need to save this much to pay for your bills. And when you have that in your savings, your mind gets easier because you already see that. For example, this week you have $300 in your savings for bills. Then next week you have 600. Then you have or like 1,000. Your brain is like, okay, I'm getting there. I don't have to be scared of the bills because I'm getting there. And so my five um, rules of not procrastinating is organize your tasks, give a deadline, break your tasks into small steps, take away distractions, and reward yourself. And I'll tell you that if you start to have a journal where you can write down what tasks you need to do, what distracts you from doing them, and breaking them into small steps, it's going to be a lot more easier because our brain remembers better when we write something on paper. And it's interesting that studies actually show that whatever you write with a pen on a paper, it's easier on your brain to remember and to understand than you write it on technology like a computer or a phone. So give it a try and let me know how it feels. Please subscribe, like, and comment, and share if you find it interesting for you. And I hope it really helped everything that I explained in this topic. If you have any suggestions, please let me know. I always like to learn more. And have a great day.